really did sleep like a log. Let's go find Sigewinne. Whoa! How is the infirmary even busier than yesterday?
Good morning, Traveler and Paimon. I have a few people here for a checkup.
No problem. Anything we can do to help?
There's a bit of a complicated situation here.
You have to believe me. I'm telling the truth.
You're in a medical facility. Keep it.
Please, listen to me. I'm not Gascon. I'm Uy.
You're a horrible liar, you know that? We get all your mugshots with the arrest warrants. It's clear as day that you're Gascon.
You mean because of the way I look? I don't know what happened. I just woke up like this. Then you guys dragged me in here for an interrogation.
I brought you here to figure out what's going on. If you truly are the victim of an injustice, yell.
All right.
This is nuts. Yesterday's interrogations went fine.
Morning, Your Grace. What's going on?
Remember the case I mentioned yesterday? The one brought to me by the Marechaussee Phantom? Well,
That's even weirder than what that guy was saying yesterday.
the thing is, none of them have been able to provide any evidence whatsoever to support their claim.
And we thought yesterday was as busy as it got for Sigewinne.
We've compiled their statements. Have a look. Perhaps there's something we missed.
Wait.
Release? Interesting. The inmates,
I noticed that too. If that's their plan, they're underestimating us a little. Every serious offender claims that there's someone else.
all the more reason to be cautious. Lumberzar, check the release list for today and make sure no one gets processed. We're gonna need an excuse, though.
I'm on it.
It's conceivable that our group of serious offenders somehow found a way to switch places with inmates who are about to be released.
We did consider that possibility. But I mean, just look at them. They match the warrants, period.
Only if they're dead ringers for the inmates due for release, I suppose. I gave you that name list yesterday.
Yes, the inmates' mugshots were attached to the list. The first thing I did, the only other thing that stands out to me is that their voices sound...
Oh, really?
Give me a moment. I think I have a way to confirm whether there's been a switch. I know, it's not time to change your dressing yet, but please bear with me.
Huh? Isn't that the guy from yesterday?
This should be Honore. He has very severe facial ulcers, which require an operation in the hospital at the Court of Fontaine.
Yes, like I told you. I'm not Putton. I'm Honore.
So there has been a swap. Well, I can see what happened in Potton's case, but how do you explain the other inmates?
No, I believe it was their faces that got switched. The method is a bit like replacing a tooth. Take the bad tooth out, put a false one in. Traveler, Paimon, do you remember Eric from the other day?
Yeah, sure do.
Then you can be my witnesses. To start with, please fetch the inmate who... So, you're Eric?
Yes, head nurse. It's me. You do believe me, right?
I need to do another examination on you. Same procedure as yesterday.
All right. It's the cognition test first, right? So I need to concentrate.
Now, try to recall if you can. The last time we did this test, what...
I believe it was your index finger.
But that means...
Huh?
So basically, last night, the Eric who said he saw another him suddenly recovered, and applied to leave the observation ward. Sigewinne did another test before letting him leave, but that time, she held up her pinky finger.
I don't know about any test last night. There was nothing to do in the observation ward, so I went straight to bed.
Well, in that case, there is a reasonable explanation for the strange events of the past 2 days.
So, what exactly happened?
The gang of serious offenders wanted to break out of prison, so they identified a group of scapegoats, namely inmates whose terms were almost up. Last night, when Odilon was on duty, they ambushed him and had one of their group switch appearance. Then, once all the other inmates were asleep, Odilon spent his night shift carrying. However, they made one mistake. Henri changed his appearance to match Eric's earlier than he should have done, and real Eric came to the guards for help, but we didn't know then what we know now. So we put it down to hallucination and sent him to. However, since one of the gang members was posing as a guard, they simply changed real Eric's appearance and had their.
Right, because I put Eric on the observation list by then, and no inmates on that list can be processed for departure until.
Hence why the imposters had to pull that little stunt to get fake Eric off the list.
Yeah, it all makes sense now. The Duke.
Well, I can't fault the reasoning. But I'm afraid that we ruled out the possibility of face switching.
Criminals altering their facial appearance to commit crimes is nothing new. In fact, one of the explicit duties of the Malazines in the we carefully examined all the suspects, and there is no evidence that any means of disguise were used.
Well then, how do we explain all this?
So far, it seems more likely that the gang stole documentation belonging to the inmates due for
Actually, there is a potion that can completely change someone's.
A shape-shifting potion?
Forgive me, head nurse, but this is the first time I'm hearing about it. If such a potion truly existed.
Yes, I am.
But
Please, trust me in my professional opinion as an experienced clinician.
At the same time, without any solid evidence, it's pure speculation. If we can round up all the inmates. Yep, let's do that.
okay. Well, it was our negligence that meant we had to come and conduct these post-internment interrogations. And I know it's put you out.
Your Grace, bad news. I paused the releases like you asked, but we were too late. A bunch of people already. I checked the list, and sure enough, it's all the people.
2 hours ago? That's before today's interrogations began.
So there really was a switch after all.
We should be able to catch up with them if we leave now, right?
Not if that potion is real. They can just switch faces again after leaving the fortress. And if the Maréchaussée's Malazines can't even spot them.
Yikes! So we're at a complete dead end!
Well, technically there is one more lead. We were only able to arrest this gang thanks to the help of a researcher from the Fontaine Research Institute.
Oh?
What? Isn't that the handsome guy we met at that skincare promotion?
Handsome? Maybe from a human point of view. One of the crimes this gang is charged with is the manufacture and sale of illicit drugs. According to Mr. Rawat, at first, he thought it was a typical case of intellectual property infringement, and he tried to negotiate with them. But once he discovered thanks to his report, we were able to swoop in and arrest them all in one go.
What a hero! Bet that took courage on him.
No doubt. This is worth following up on. As the one who snitched on them, it's highly likely that Rawat will be. That aside, since he's negotiated with them in person before.
Understood, Your Grace. My team and I will head to the Fontaine Research Institute right away. In the meantime, please.
Of course.
Miss Morgan, I'd like to come along and help you catch these criminals.
Huh?
Well, I'm the one who discharged the fake Eric last night.
Don't say that, head nurse. Your focus was on the inmate's health, and rightly so. We can't ask you to help.
I also have a more personal reason. Cotton is a patient of mine, and if I don't get it...
Look, head nurse, I completely understand where you're coming from. But arresting criminals is dangerous business.
Don't worry. I I can defend myself just fine.
You say that.
If I may, Miss Morgan, Sigewinne is the one who raised the potion hypothesis, and I'm sure she has far more expertise on the topic than your team. And if you really are worried for her safety, then... Ah, there you go, right on cue. Knew I could count on you.
Okay. Well, since this plan has the Duke's blessing, Greetings. Sorry to impose, but I'm afraid—
The marsh is a phantom. Let me guess, you're investigating some more illegal
Not this time, no. We're looking for a researcher. Do you—
What? Oh yeah, Mr. Handsome. He actually doesn't work on site here very often. There's a handful of researchers in the nearby area who know him pretty well, though.
Just a handful? Paimon figured he'd be the most popular guy.
Well, I guess you could say he's popular, at least on a superficial level. He's blessed with good looks, so he tends to— But in all his time here at the Fontaine Research Institute, I don't think he's ever had a single deep conversation about his—
That's so weird. He definitely didn't come across like a recluse at that product promotion.
I don't find that weird at all. He definitely didn't strike me as the kind of guy who's, good at making friends.
Really? Paimon couldn't tell. Must be a Melusine perception thing.
Okay, we should talk with his acquaintances. But we also need to check the Research Institute for any clues. Let's split up. It'll save us some time.
Sure thing. We'll go ask around among the other researchers with Sigewinne. Paimon's suddenly kinda curious to know what everyone really thinks. Hey there, are you in Teeb?
What do you want?
We're here to ask about Rawat. Any idea where he might be? We were told you were pretty close with him.
Close? Not sure that's the word I'd use. He wouldn't even let me use his patent.
Huh?
It's been a good few days since I last saw him. I don't know where he's at. Go ask.
Would the patent in question happen to be related to the new skincare?
Yeah, kinda. Butterfly dew, or whatever he calls it.
Okay, now we're getting some.
Most of the other researchers here focus on mechanics, energy, stuff like that. I get why he wouldn't be interested, but I'm studying coatings. There's a huge overlap in our areas of research. I bought his product once and noticed it contains a unique substance that might have applications in coatings too. If it worked out, I could— Don't get me wrong. I had no intention of plagiarizing his work. I was hoping to get official permission to use his findings in my own research, but despite that, he turned me down not once, not twice, but 3 times.
Huh, so is Rawat antisocial, or is this guy just jealous? Well, it doesn't look like we're gonna get any info about Rawat's where—
Wait, 1 second. Mr. Antib, next time you go shopping, you should buy some Buell fruits. Peel the—
Huh? Yeah.
Excuse us, are you Audrey?
That's me. What is it?
Are you close friends with Rawat? We're trying to find out where he is.
Close friends? You mean because I told him I had feelings for him once? I doubt I'm the first, or I should have known, really. Men like him, they just enjoy being surrounded by fawning.
Okay.
Why would I know where he's at? I barely...
Ugh, this is getting annoying. Shall we go ask someone else?
I think she knows Rawat better than she cares to admit.
Maybe, but we're not going to get much out of her while she's in...
She's displaying symptoms common among people in love, if that's...
It's curable?
Oh, we're still no closer to finding Mr. Rawat. Oh, but...
danger? Wait, why are you looking for him again?
Oh, that's right, yeah! The Marechaussee Phantom said that he's been targeted by...
What? How has this happened? He seemed fine when I last saw him, and that was only a couple of...
Oh, I see.
Okay, but this is purely out of concern for his safety. If he's not at the Institute, he might be at his mother's place. I heard she raised him alone, that they had it pretty tough financially, and these days she's housebound due to illness. He makes regular trips back home to check on her.
Oh, okay. Do you know the address?
Nope, sorry. I only found out the thing about his mother because it came up in conversation once. When I told him I had a crush on him, I offered to help him take care of his mother. And yeah, maybe that was a stupid idea, but did he really? Unbelievable. These guys only want to show you their charming, well-groomed exterior.
Looks like her love syndrome is flaring up again.
We need to find out Mr. Rawat's mother's address. Let's check with the Marechaussee officers when we regroup.
Cool, sounds like a plan. Sorry to bother you, sir, but are you Bertram?
Who's asking?
Just some concerned citizens helping out the Marechaussee Phantom with an investigation. We'd like to ask you about Rawat's...
Not anymore, we're not. Turns out we don't see eye to eye.
Oh yeah? What happened?
The thing about us researchers is, most of us do what we do for some sort of higher purpose. He won't even let you work with him unless you sign a confidentiality agreement first. Also, he has better control over who gets which intellectual... Now that I've got my own technical solution for my compressor, I don't need to work with him anymore.
So that's what Rawat is really like.
We'd still like to know where to find him.
Wait, you're... Yeah, I know you. You're the head nurse at the Fortress of Meripede. Alright, then I'm happy to help you if I can. I respect the work you do. Medicine serves the highest purpose.
Wow, turns out Sigewinne's got some real clout.
Thing is, I have no real way of knowing where he might be. I stopped working with him 2 months ago. But if you want my advice, I'd say go talk to the peddlers. There's a few he meets with every other day or so.
Peddlers?
Yeah, back when I was working with him, I noticed he met with them quite often. Wouldn't surprise me if they were involved in some shady business. The little I overheard was about manufacturing and selling pharmaceutical drugs. Like I said, he's all about the money.
Drugs? Doesn't he work with skincare products? Do those count as drugs?
Who knows? I never cared to find out. He's the morgue rubber, not me.
Thank you. You've given us plenty to work with.
Welcome. Goodbye, and may we...
Well, that's all 3 researchers. Let's head back to the meetup point. You know, Hyman started out thinking Rawat was a handsome researcher with a friendly and cheerful personality. It's such a
So what's your view of him now, Paimon?
A handsome researcher whose difficult upbringing turned him into a prophet chaser.
So your thoughts about his appearance haven't...
Well, his looks are kind of a big deal. At least in Paimon's opinion. How did such a handsome guy end up being so
You can't judge a person solely based on their appearance.
Head nurse. Traveler. I assume you've spoken with the researchers.
Bertram mentioned Rawat's involvement with some pharmaceutical merchants. Do you know if he's registered any pharmaceutical...
Since he was a whistleblower on such a huge case, I ran a background check on him.
How strange. If he was so focused on commercializing his research and averse to share, maybe he and his business partners needed to avoid public...
You think he may have colluded with the gang?
Isn't that pretty unlikely, though? He was the one who blew the whistle on Dad!
Most children who come to me with tooth decay have suffered pain for a long time already, but they'll still try to hide the fact that they eat too many sweets. Grown-ups and children aren't so different.
If you say so.
I saw him when he came to make his report, and I certainly didn't get the feeling that he was the type to collude with criminals. Perhaps it's more likely you mentioned that he comes from a poor family. So, it's possible that the criminals approached him, asking for academic support, by the time he discovered who they really were. He was in too deep. They had leverage on him, so he was forced to keep...
That does make a lot of sense. It would definitely explain why he was so unwilling to No wonder he's so unsociable. He must be on edge all the time with a gang of crooks breathing down his neck.
In that case, the situation could be worse than we thought. If Rawat was working with the escaped inmates, they're sure to know more about his whereabouts than us. Oh, there's a good chance they'll get to him before we do.
Based on the information we've gathered so far, he was last seen 2 days ago. If no one's seen him
2 days ago? So he went missing right after that product
That was the same day he reported the criminals, too.
Don't worry, everyone. I believe we still have a chance. Since he disappeared right after Blue...
Yeah, he must have been worried that they'd come for him.
All the more reason to find him as soon as possible. The only lead we have at the moment is his mother's house.
Yep. When you register a brand, the Court of Fontaine requires you to provide a legal address. The one Rawat wrote down was in the outskirts of the...
Okay, then there's no time to lose. Let's...
All right, this should be the house.
Okay, I'll knock.
Sounds like whoever's inside has restricted mobility. Oh, it seems serious. Oh, what's the fastest way?
Break the door down?
No, I'll handle it. Let the expert deal with it. There'll be a mountain of paperwork. Calm down. Deep breaths. Remember your training. Control your strength. And... it's open!
Seath, take a few people and lie in wait. Keep your eyes peeled for any activity around the house. The Traveler...
Hello? Anyone home? Oh, there. On the bed, there's an old lady. That's gotta be Rawat's mother, right?
We could try, but she is very ill. We mustn't force it.
Well, doesn't look like Rawat's here. She's the only one we can talk to.
Yep. Allow me. Hello, ma'am. Might I ask if you're Rawat's mother? Hard of hearing, perhaps. Does anyone have a picture?
I have one here.
I'd like to show you a photo, ma'am. Is this your...
Looks like this isn't gonna work after.
Well, looks like we're out of leads.
Is it possible he could have avoided returning here because he knew he'd be in danger?
Maybe. But if so, where do we look next?
Yes, so.
I suggest we all return there now. We found a good amount of useful information the first time.
Sorry, officer, but could I stay here for a while?
Of course. Traveler, stay with the head nurse. You're technically here as her assistant after all.
Also, I'd like some Marechaussee members to stay as well, and keep an eye on the area.
Why's that?
If Rawat knows how serious his mother's condition is, he will return.
Got it. Okay. I'll tell the squad members in hiding to stay put and keep a lookout.
Thanks for helping me out yet again, Traveler and Paimon.
No problem. But when you say her condition is serious, do you...
Yes. She's barely clinging on to...
Oh.
Let me take care of a few things first. Could you pass me the towel?
Yeah, of course.
I can tell that her family has tried a lot of different treatment methods, including some very expensive medicines.
Sigewinne, my mom bets being a nurse must be pretty tough at...
Yes. It makes me... In Melizine's eyes, a human's birth, aging, sickness, and death are as much a part, but human medicine can defy that law to some extent. In that sense, it is a science, but it was only after I truly became a doctor that I realized miracles don't always happen. Even the greatest doctors cannot cure...
Sigewinne...
Well, don't worry about me, Paimon. A doctor's duty is not to cure all diseases, but at the very least I can lower her fever. That way she'll suffer less, and she might even be able to see her son.
Yeah, all the more reason to find Rawat as soon as possible, even if we don't catch those...
Oh, her fever is getting worse. Could I get some hot water?
Sure, we're on the case.
Found the hot water?
Sure did. And look what else we found. Judging by this journal, it seems like Rawat has a private lab. There's a good chance he could be there right now. We got...
Oh, that's great news. But hold on just a moment. The wet towel is ready. I'm giving you another injection. Are you feeling better now? It's all right. We'll go bring him back. Please hang in there.
Thank you. It's Officer Morgan! They're already here!
We came as soon as we heard the news. I can't believe we were so careless.
Don't blame yourself. Right now, we need to focus on finding a way.
There's a mechanical door over here! Hopefully the instructions in Rawat's journal will help us open it.
It's open. Let's go in.
How did they get in here? Captain, up ahead! Those look like our fugitives!
So they found this place too? Don't let any of them escape!
Let the show begin. Out of the frying pan, into the fire!
You're in for a little shock.
One tip to my hammer. That tingle rehab cross!
Come a little.
Let's blow bubbles! Oh! Nice and spicy!
You're in for a.
Eat this!
Careless. Picked the wrong test subject. Captain, according to our list, many of the fugitives aren't accounted for. There may be others hiding deeper inside the facility.
So these guys were just the lookout crew.
The Mara Shosei Phantom! How did they find—
Wait, it's that guard from the fortress!
That's right, I'm on your side. The Duke sent me. What's the matter? Some sort of mix-up?
Mr. Odilon, didn't I tell you a few days ago that you need to stop all field work until you've recovered?
Well, gotta help His Grace out.
Officer Morgan, this man is an imposter. The real Mr. Odilon has no recent health issues.
What? But
Looks like the head nurse was right about the face-swapping method. Arrest them all! DuPont, stay here and keep guard. And watch the exit. If we're not back soon, call—
Got it.
So many jars. Was this some sort of production facility?
This scent, it's probably the ingredients used to make butterfly dew.
How come they're all empty? Did it sell so well that he ran out of supplies?
How strange. Why would Rawat choose to manufacture a popular product like that in such a difficult-to-reach location? Given our suspicion that he may have been coerced into the illegal drug trade, I would have thought that any production facility we find here would be—
Perhaps butterfly dew is itself—
Do you have any evidence for that claim?
No, just a guess. We need to find Rawat as soon as possible.
Understood. Well—
Doesn't look like we're gonna get this door open. Let's find another way around. This one's closed too! What's with those carts and tracks? Oh, maybe it's one of those doors that opens when it senses cargo passing through. There's a loaded cart right over there. Let's bring it to the door and give it a try!
Everyone be gentle.
Hold still. Don't be nervous. Just relax. Go, Barbara, go. Let's dance.
Come a little closer.
Windblade. Hi. Yeah.
You're in for a little shock.
This room's much smaller than the others.
Judging by the implements on the table, this looks like a potion-making lab.
Head nurse! Over here.
Let's see. Huh? Robot's clothes. Why would he change here?
Perhaps they stripped him down, left the clothes behind, and disposed of him somewhere else?
Yikes, Sigewinne, where did that come from?
Oh, what a tragic way to go. Especially with such a bright future ahead of him.
There's a path leading further on, Officer Morgan. Let's keep up the pace. Go, Barbara, go!
There's a...
Are you serious? You're telling us that within a day, our faces are going to rot like yours?
Fontanian physiology changed dramatically after that great flood, and it's not as compatible with this face-changing solution as before. The side effects are as you can—
Why didn't you say anything before we all used it?
Look, my plan got y'all out of prison, didn't it? You'd have much bigger problems to worry about right now if the Marshal Say Phantom found out about your other—
You're just lucky we didn't leave you in there after you disappeared on us with no warning. We only let it slide.
Partners, make no mistake, each of us is only looking out for— You hid things from me too. Remember how you each had a spare potion? You kept quiet about it.
Oh, and you didn't have a secret spare? Then do you want to explain how—
Guys, that's enough. Calm down. It is what it is. What's the plan, Parton? I'm assuming you brought us here for a reason?
There is no plan. We followed him here on the promise of more juice, but it turns out there ain't a drop here. Besides, What does it matter now, anyway? He already said, even if we did get our hands on more of that stuff, switching faces again solves nothing.
I said enough arguing! Pardon?
The most practical solution is to continue using the potion. Keep switching to a new face before the ulcers can start forming.
Are you kidding me? This stuff was hard enough to get a hold of even when we had a supply. Now you're asking us to use it like skin lotion, after the flood all but wiped the supply.
Well, there is another option. But you'll have to make a deal with me first.
Okay, now we're talking. What's the deal?
I have a document I took from that researcher that details how to make a replacement. Just give me one bottle of the undiluted fluid. What's the problem? I thought you always kept reserves. Or do you really?
What do you think? That we were shipping them into the fortress of Meripede by the basket load?
Well then, say hello to never showing your marred faces in public again.
Ugh, I've heard enough! Get him! Let's see if that document even exists!
Freeze! Marshal say Phantom!
What? Who let them in?
Officer Morgan, before anything else, please find out Rawat's status.
Rawat?
I don't see him. Hand over the hostage now. If you...
Spare us your condescending attempts to coax us back to our cells. You think...
Pardon?
Arrest them all! Don't let anyone get away!
Calm down! I swear, it's for medical research! Hey!
Another test subject. Freeze!
Let's spark things up a little.
Have a little taste.
Prepare to be blown away! Nice and...
Freeze!
Come a little closer. You? Here. Hup, hup.
The wrong test subject.
You?
Race you! You're toast! You might feel a little prick. Hold still.
You're in for a little shock.
That really hurt! Out of the frying pan, into the fire!
Try not to enjoy this too much.
Wibbly wobbly!
Huh. Gotta say, I never expected to see the head nurse in combat.
Some patients respond better to a more aggressive treatment plan.
Captain, we finished the head count. Potten's missing.
Over there! The door's closing!
One group trying to arrest me, another trying to hunt me down. Good. I gotta...
How did he get up there? There must be a secret passage.
Don't waste your energy. I already sealed it off.
How naive. We have more people outside. If we're not back out by the agreed time...
Well then, you'd better hope they get here in time.
There's some kind of gas leaking from the pipes. Be careful.
This is our distribution center, where we store the product derived from our source solution. We had to use special fire prevent. The pipe network here was designed to emit a gas for firefighting. One little modification.
Why would you do this? Your partners are here too.
Oh, please. If they can't supply what I need, they're of no further use to me.
He's a maniac! Come on, we gotta find a way to open that door!
Go ahead, struggle in vain. Once the last of you croaks, no one will ever...
Are you sure you're ready to leave, Potten? You haven't changed your dressing today.
You can't cure my face, just give up.
And what if I could?
Nice try. You're just trying to stall me. Don't you worry about me. I'll find a way to cure my face once I get out of here.
it. After all, Fontanians can no longer dissolve in...
What?
The key component of the face-changing potion is the fluid left behind by dissolved Fontanians. It might look like ordinary water, but before the flood, all Fontanians were Oceanids. A potion made from that fluid could dissolve and reconstruct the face of a Fontanian, in much the same way as hydroidolins change form. Theoretically, it could give someone any appearance they wished. But since the flood, Fontanians have become true humans. They can no longer provide the source material for this potion, nor reap its
Are you saying this potion is made from Fontanians dissolved with primordial seawater?
How could you know all of this? No, wait.
It also means that I have a formula you're unaware of.
I might get to make a deal today after all. Alright, keep talking.
Oh, it's not a formula, but a finished product. I have a bottle.
What?
When I tried Rawat's skincare product, I noticed it had a certain special component in it. So I had my friends gather some other ingredients for me, and sure enough, a little experimenting later, I'm guessing his skincare lotion contains the fruits of your joint research?
Huh. Impressive guesswork. Yeah. But it only contains a tiny amount of the active ingredient. The effect is minuscule.
Well, I found a way to reverse the dilution process, giving the skincare lotion a similar effect to the flu.
That's impossible.
If I tell you some of the ingredients, I think you can figure it out. First, you need to combine tainted hydrophantasm tissue with transoceanic pearls.
Tainted hydrophantasms and transoceanic pearls.
So, can we make a deal?
Sounds good to me. There's a delivery pipeline beneath this window. Drop the potion in, and I'll release you all.
Nope, not trusting you that easily. You're like those naughty kids who try to hide their illness. Open the sluice gate first.
Even if you're not bluffing, your potion won't cure my face permanently. You really think you... I'm not closing the valve this time. What?
Fine, then I'll just stand here with the potion in my hand. And when I faint from the poison, I'll drop it and it'll...
No.
It's open! Disable that sluice gate! Jam it! Don't let it close again!
That's more like it. In that case...
Head nurse, there's too much poison gas in here. We have to leave, now!
That was too close. That button is a real nasty piece of work.
Oh, don't be too quick to sit down. Moving around a little will help relieve the soreness. Same goes for you, Traveler. Oh, but Paimon, you should be fine, right?
Flying fast is pretty tiring too, actually. Anyway, that's not important right now. Paimon's still shocked to learn that there's a whole criminal operation going on behind that skincare lotion.
Shame I ended up giving the improved version to Potten after finally making it for you.
No, please don't. Paimon doesn't want to use that stuff anymore. Still, it was a pretty good job that Paimon wanted to buy some in the first place, huh? It ended up saving... Yeah, Paimon was just kidding.
Head nurse, I've done a final head count of our team and the criminals. Everyone's here. It's a shame that we didn't find Rawat. At this point...
What a horrible bunch. Especially that Potten guy. If he hadn't made good on that deal, we'd all be dead because...
No, we wouldn't. I always keep a whole bunch of antidotes on me for emergencies. And one of them neutralizes that poison gas.
What? Then why did you give him the potion?
If this is true, I must concur. If he changes his appearance and flees Fontaine, it's unlikely that we'll ever find him. No matter...
No, you don't understand. I gave him the potion precisely so we could be sure where he'll...
What do you mean?
We gotta hurry. She won't last much longer.
Don't move a muscle. I might be short, but I pack a mean punch. Captain, you're just in time. While I was lying in wait, I spotted this crook snooping around, trying...
Oh, his face.
Are you... Potton? So this is where you were headed?
What?
This is how Potton looked before his face was marred. His current appearance matches the mugshot on...
Wait, so what's going on? Wasn't the whole point of the potion to disguise himself and escape Fontaine? Why would he...
Enough of this nonsense! Let me in!
You better pipe down. There's an old lady in there who's very sick.
To heck with it. Listen to me. I'm Rawat. That's my mother in there.
He's gotta be lying, right? Rawat was a victim in all this. He was forced into it against his will. How can he...
Forced against his will? Heck, when I was being coerced, everyone thought I was colluding of my own free will. And then when I actually became a criminal in my own right, you all suddenly thought I must be under duress. Amazing what a difference a handsome face makes.
Save us the speech.
You want an explanation? Fine. I'll tell it how it is. When I was just Potton, the whole world treated me with contempt.
Ew. What do you want? Get a...
Women despise me.
Collaborate? You don't look like much of a researcher to me.
My peers scorned me.
Mr. Potton, was it? I'm most interested in your research. Consider my offer carefully. I doubt you'll find other investment opportunities.
Only villains would work with me.
You want out of the game? Forget about it. Turns out, I slipped up a little. Left your picture with some marechaussee phantom officers. So I suggest you put any thoughts of running away to rest. If you get caught by the guards for being in the synth business...
There was no way out for me. Until I could stop being Potton.
Mr. Rawat,
I became popular with women.
This new potion you developed is fascinating. Genius, in fact. Would you consider working with me?
My peers looked up to me.
Okay, I'm very interested in your research, sir. You must no doubt have offers from countless investors. So far be it from me to ask for a full collaboration.
And the villains even began to fear me. Becoming Rawat showed me what a superficial world we live in. But I did not hold a grudge. After all, this superficiality could be made to work in my favor. Or so I thought. But alas, the world seemed... Mother, I'm back. How are you doing? I bought the best medicine Mora could buy, but nothing would cure her illness. In the end, I hoped she'd at least be able to see her son one last time before she passed, but when everyone else rejected me, the only person who cared about me was my mother. Then, when I became a rising...
I have to let her see me again. Even if it means donning my own wretched, ugly face. Well, is that enough explaining for you? Now do you understand?
Have you ever considered if you'll even be able to look your mother in the eyes? After you found a way to completely change your identity. You could easily have escaped from them.
Why would I want to give up on such a lucrative business? The profits were dozens of times that of the synth bit.
So you kept being a villain just for the money?
Villain? By what standard? Is doing evil deeds really what makes someone a villain in your eyes? Or does it all come down to the way that you have no right to judge me? You're all just fake people living in a hypocritical world! I regret—
You're a villain to the core! But
honestly, I don't see a villain when I look at your current face either.
Don't humor me. You don't seem surprised by my confession in the least. How long have you known the truth?
I didn't know anything for sure until you chose to take that potion bottle and spare our lives. But if you're asking when I started I had to confirm my suspicions. That's why I chose to join this investigation.
Are you kidding me? A young, promising researcher and a wretched criminal?
Well, there were no visual clues. This potion's face-changing effects are— But I believe I understand humanity a little better than most of my kind. Humans have certain
fundamental qualities, huh? So most people probably don't know this, but I think I can guess what your deal is. Melazine constitutions are very close to that. You used it yourself, didn't you? That's why you have a human appearance.
Sigewinne?
Yes, you're right.
I'll bet it was back in the days when Melazines were discriminated against because of their appearance. It was either carry on living in the gutters as part of an alien race cast out by humanity, or become the head nurse of the Fortress of— So you see, you and I were the same. And I'm—
That's not important right now. You came here to—
Huh?
A head nurse. I'm not sure that's a good idea.
Don't worry. Back in the warehouse when I traded the potion for our lives, he was willing to risk sacrificing his only chance of escaping capture by opening the gate in exchange for the potion.
I see.
So before you arrest him, please allow him to see his mother one last—
All right. I understand.
Mom? It's me, Potton. Your son. Mom, what's wrong?
I'm sorry, but I have some bad news. I examined your mother last time we were here.
What?
Your appearance no longer has any bearing on her ability to recognize you.
No, it can't be. Please, Mom, open your eyes. I've done so much to get to this point. Please. No.
The temperature of his palm must have changed. I'm sorry. It seems I couldn't bring him back to you after all.
It's you?
Oh, of course.
Mom, why will you answer her and not me?
No more questions, Potton. She's gone.
Mom?
I'm sorry to say this, Potton, but...
The wait is over, everyone! The sale of our new skincare product, Romaritime Essence, will now begin.
Another skincare promotion! And it's selling as fast as last time. Wonder what people would think if they knew what was in the last batch. Oh, Sigewinne's here too! Hey, Sigewinne!
Oh, Traveler Paimon, hello! I hope you two got a good rest yesterday after.
Of course! Nurse's orders, right? Anyway, are you here to take notes for your next article?
Actually, I'm mostly here to help Officer Morgan wrap up yesterday's case.
Ah, that reminds Paimon. That stuff sold like crazy, didn't it? Is it gonna cause huge problems?
Nope, there's nothing to worry about. Unless modified, Butterfly Dew is an excellent skincare product that's completely... Besides, officers have already retrieved all Butterfly Dew purchased on the market. Now it's just a matter of disposal. After consulting Monsieur Nervulette, I came up with a way to neutralize any harmful effects, so it'll evaporate naturally without polluting water or soil.
Wow, it's Sigewinne to the rescue again!
Thank you for serving as our consultant, head nurse. All the butterfly dew we recovered has been disposed of, according to your instructions.
Great! Good job, everyone!
Also, you mentioned you wanted a copy of Rawat's interrogation records. Well, technically, Potten's records. Anyway, after he saw his mother for the last time, it was like all his mental defenses came crashing down. He put up no resistance during the interrogation and answered all our questions. We learned a lot. Apparently, the formula was something he discovered by chance while helping the criminal gang produce synth. Later, their supplier was Vache. But you could also argue that they were the ones doing him a favor. It made for a seamless collaboration. One man's trash was another man's treasure, and there...
Vache again, huh? Is there still no end to the harm he caused?
Make no mistake. The crimes of Vache and his accomplices will come to an end. It's only a matter of time. Since the flood cut off their supply of primordial seawater, they've been forced to resort to riskier methods, like using their private reserve to attack people on the street. Now, after receiving numerous reports, we were able to zero in on the gang and eventually round them.
That sounds more like it!
Based on what he told us in his confession, we pretty much had him backed into a corner, even though he made a point of distancing himself from the gang while disguised as Rawat. He tried to throw us off his tail by reporting his accomplices, giving him enough time to transform back into Potten and see his mother one last time. But there was one thing he hadn't anticipated. Even though Potten had been missing for a long time, we were very much still on the lookout for him. So the moment he appeared in public after changing back to his original appearance, we caught him.
So he tried this once before, huh? Guess he really did want his mother to see him again. But in the end...
Looking at the interrogation records, it seems like he spent the first sum of money he earned as Rawat on his mother's treatment.
Yes, which is why I suspect that his initial motive for using the potion was not personal greed. Even so, he went too far.
I understand. Thank you for bringing me these records.
Why did you want them anyway?
Potten was one of my patients, so I need to put together a medical file for him. My teacher always stressed that a person's life experiences...
Why are you still treating him like your patient? Isn't he kind of beyond redemption now?
Well, that may be true, but a patient is a patient.
One last thing, head nurse. Please keep everything you know about this. It would be for the best if most of Fontaine knows nothing of its existence.
Of course. Not to worry.
Thank you for understanding. I'll take my leave then.
So, Sigewinne, did you really use that potion yourself?
Why do you sound so surprised, Paimon?
You mean that story about the witch?
Yes, it really actually... But... I know. There are some secrets I can't tell anyone about. Before I tell you, though, could you follow me somewhere? I want...
Of course! Nervalette and Risley, they're here too!
Good to see you, Traveler. Paimon. I trust all has been going well for you?
Big news, everyone. The Udex is out of his office on important business.
Is that genuinely something?
Why wouldn't they? Important business is a big deal.
Ah, yes, you're quite right. When someone you care about requires emotional support, being there... After reading the Maréchal Phantom's reports, I had to
take note. That, my friends, is how Monsieur Nervalette shows that he cares. We're both here for the same purpose, actually.
So the old friend she mentioned was her teacher then? The witch? Oh, sorry. Paimon didn't mean to be rude. It's only because Sigewinne calls her that all the time.
I doubt she considers that title to be offensive, Paimon. Don't worry.
Indeed. In fact, I believe Sigewinne would take it as a sign of affection. She has spoken. In those days, many people harbored prejudices against Melusines. She would...
Wow. It's really nice of you two to be here for Sigewinne. Guess you guys really look out for your younger colleagues, huh?
Younger colleague? Well, that might be true for the Udex, but I'm not sure I can say that. Sigewinne served a sentence in the fortress of Meripede hundreds of years ago. And after she did her time, she descended. Strictly speaking, the head nurse has been around longer than most people in the fortress. Myself included.
She served a sentence?
Yes. Long before I became Udex, there was an ancient law in Fontaine that prohibited any attempt to transform. Initially, I and most researchers believed this law to have been imposed due to ethical concerns. But now, it seems more likely that the law was nothing more than an insurance policy, a way for Egeria to ensure that her people would...
Ignorance is bliss, as they say.
Sigewinne had her reasons for choosing to obtain a human form, but the act was nonetheless inclusive.
Could you tell us a little bit more about what happened back then?
Certainly. Sigewinne does not object to her close friends learning about her history. In fact...
Even with their daughter so ill, they kicked you out? Stubborn as always. Shame that I don't have the energy to get over there. You're laughable, you old witch.
Master, what are you?
I discovered a strange disease. One I suspect that I had no choice but to experiment on myself to find a cure. But I hit a wall.
Then I'll find a cure for you. And then you can go cure her.
There's no need.
But, Master...
As I said before, a doctor's duty is to treat whatever ailments they...
I know, but they don't...
That girl...
I'll do whatever it takes.
Even if it means breaking the law and being...
As long as I don't hurt anyone.
Then I shall make one more final gamble. And see my experiment. If I am able to work this miracle, then I will have found a way to save all fun. If not, then it means there is one more disease in this. I will leave you a parting gift. An accidental discovery happened upon through my...
When Sigewinne returned, the miracle had not occurred. She found a potion bottle and a note on the table. After using the potion as instructed, she gained, and after I had confirmed the veracity of the events...
So that's what happened.
I fear Sigewinne only understood the full story after the truth about the dissolution of Fontaine. When I reflected on all this with that knowledge in hand, I felt a deep sense of regret. As I used after the final details of the events surrounding Sigewinne's transformation came to light, I checked several sources and, thankfully...
Wonder how she feels about all this.
Since she invited you here, I imagine she intends to speak of these matters with you, no?
here. The old friend I mentioned was my teacher. When she passed, her body was nowhere to be found.
Sigewinne, the witch who gave you the magic potion, she was your teacher, wasn't she?
Sounds like Monsieur Neuvillette filled you in.
After learning the truth, it must have been hard to process.
Well, to be honest, after I realized what really happened that night...
But she was planning to sacrifice herself and never told...
That's just who she was. If lying is what it took to get a kid to take their medicine, then that's what she'd do.
Alright, but why did you turn yourself in?
I broke the law, simple as that. My teacher made her choice, and I made mine.
True. It's just... the way Potton framed it when he was... You're not like him at all, and everything Neuvillette said confirms that. And yet, you were still convicted and thrown in prison.
Unfair? I happen to think just the opposite. If I hadn't served that time...
What makes you say that?
I knew you'd be curious. The verdict came down. This Melusine is guilty. The Iudex defended the authority of Fontaine law, but he did not confiscate the Melusine's medical kit. And so, the Fortress of Meripede gained a new little doctor. She still wore her hood and raincoat, even though it never rained in the fortress. Perhaps thanks to her human appearance, no one refused her treatment. She treated more and more patients, and her sentence grew ever shorter. Finally, the people of the fortress could not live without her, and though her sentence ended, she did not leave them either. Then one day, she received an invitation from the outside world. The location seemed familiar, and when she arrived, an old lady was waiting for her. She saw right through the Melusine's disguise, but didn't reveal it. Instead, she asked a question.
Tell me, why do you think you gained the respect of so many people, despite being a Melusine?
Because I look like a human?
It's been 50 years, Sigewinne, and you haven't aged a day. I think everyone knows you are not human. I finally found you, after all these years. I still remember, you know. It was you who saved me that night.
But how? I was no longer a Melusine by then.
Does it really matter if you're human or Melusine? I remember the warmth of your palm. It's quite unmistakable. And you know what? It hasn't changed one bit. You don't have to hide anymore, Sigewinne. These days, everyone wants to make friends with Melusines. And I think that it's all because of you. I'm sorry I couldn't say this until now, but thank you, Dr. Melusine.
Now that's an ending Paimon can get behind.
After hearing everything Potton said, I wanted to tell him that it didn't matter who he looked like on the outside. I tried to treat him, but the roots of his problem had nothing to do with his face. I understand. Thanks, you two.
Oh, it's nothing.
Oh, there's one more reason I invited you here. In order to restore the appearances of the face-swapping victims, the Marechaussee Phantom gave me special permission to make a few bottles of that potion.
We don't need it, though.
Well, even if you chose to destroy it, I still thought I should give it to you first.
Well, fair enough, but anyway, still, if this is the very last bottle in all of Teyvat, getting rid of it would feel like kind of a waste. Melusine physiology wasn't affected by the Great Flood, right? So that means the potion should have a permanent effect on you. In that case, What do you say? After all, from a Melazine point of view, Paimon bets Melazines look the cutest of all.
Paimon, after everything,
what was Paimon thinking? You made up your mind a long time ago.
Leave it to me.